a few quick instructions before we begin our prelude. There are a few things you will want to have over the course of our Interfaith holiday pageant today. One of which is color pencils. I have distributed some around the sanctuary, but we have more up here, and I will move them forward. So if you need to have access to color pencils, we will get that to you. Also, there are a few parts in our pop-up pageant that are associated with props. If you would like a part, there are props still left on the back row, and all the props need to be gone for everything to work. So, Ellie, are there still props? Okay, perfect. There are doors to be had, and so if anyone would like to be a doorway in the course of our pageant, there are a few there. Okay. And finally, we are going to, there will be a time where I give you some instructions about some Post-it notes. You don't have those Post-it notes yet, but they will be distributed at the time that I give you those instructions. Yes? Okay. Now, finally, I will tell you, in case you need to muster some bravery, there will be an opportunity for all of us to participate in the hand chime choir today, okay? I know you want to do it. Okay, so when it comes time for volunteers, if you have always wanted to use a hand chime, this is the moment to say yes, okay? With that in mind, let us turn our minds to worship as we first hear our prelude.
So good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church this glorious morning. The sun is shining, we're inside where it's warm, can't be beat. My name is Steph Tacey, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm a member of our church's worship team. So I think it's wondrous that we are all gathered here today, and yet we're all in various spaces, and if you think about it, even times. We're here in the sanctuary, we're live streaming on Zoom, hi there, and some of us will even be watching this video of this service sometime in the future. But I am so grateful that we are all here and part of this loving community. Here at Heritage, we honor the diversity that we find in the world and of each person, and encourage all to find their own truth and meaning of life. As I look over the sanctuary, I see so many people I know, and yet there are faces here that may be new to us. I'd like to take this opportunity to offer a special welcome to any first-time visitors. We're so glad you're here. And we invite you to sign our guest book that's in the lobby if you haven't already. This morning's greeter from the Board of Trustees is Kelly Viano, and she is back in the lobby waving hello at us. They'll be glad to answer any questions and give a tour of the building if you'd like one. You'll find that we have all sorts of activities happening within our walls and beyond. If you turn your order of service over, you can check out the list of some upcoming events and valuable information. Hey, Laci, can you help me share some of the highlights that are on our calendar? So, this Wednesday, yes, only 3 days away, on December 24th at 7 p.m., we invite you for a candlelight service of story, music, and quiet reflection as we honor the hope and wonder of this sacred night. There'll be beloved readings, carols, and a shared ritual of light as we celebrate the promise of peace born anew in every heart. All are welcome to gather with us in community as we lift our voices and spirits in the glow of Christmas. This is such a deeply touching service, regardless of your personal beliefs, so you won't want to miss it.
Because parking and seating fill quickly on Christmas Eve, we encourage you to carpool, park on a nearby side street, and arrive early to ensure that you have a seat here in the sanctuary. Overflow seating will be available, and all are invited to stay afterwards for cookies and holiday treats.
And there are so many exciting things happening in the life of our church in January. We have so many programs listed in the order of service, so again, be sure to take a look.
This is especially true for our religious education program. 3 Flights of Owl for grades 4 through 6, junior high, and senior high will be starting in the new year and require parent orientations that are scheduled for January 7th for the junior and senior high grades and January 11th for grades 4 through 6. Full information and registration links will be emailed out on Monday to our families and included fully in the weekly connections emails that goes out this week. So be on the lookout for that information.
And so if you're like me and you've been dreaming of sugar plum fairies and you're wondering where you're going to store all those cool presents you're going to get, you might be considering doing a pre or post purging before the holiday. Well, we've got the perfect solution for you. Please consider putting those items aside for our annual rummage sale that will happen this spring.
We generally ask folks to hold those items at home until February. However, if storage is a problem, please contact our sale coordinator, Barb Rohr.
All right. Wow, you know, it feels so good to know that there is so much living going on in this community. So in order to stay on top of everything we all do, you know, we have our trusty phones ready to alert us about the next great thing on our calendar and who is reaching out to us. All that is so handy, depending on where you are. So in just a moment, we'll begin our worship service where we don't want to have any of those kinds of distractions. So please, turn off your mobile devices, silence them, or turn it on airplane mode. We only want to hear the beautiful words and song that will come from our very youngest all the way to we older folks. So let's still our devices and immerse ourselves in the joy and merriment that is about to surround us. And let's also still ourselves so we can be fully present. Breathe in slowly, and now breathe out. Feel your hearts and minds open as you breathe. Allow the love that flows through this room and the virtual space on Zoom to fill you and connect all of us as Laci offers our call to worship.
Our call to worship this morning is actually a chalice lighting, so I'm going to ask Juliet to come forward now and light the chalice while I speak the words of the call to worship. We light this chalice as a symbol of our free faith. We light this chalice so that it might guide us to enlightenment. We light this chalice to remember the miracle of oil that burned for 8 days. We light the chalice for hope in times of uncertainty. We light this chalice to mark the nights of midwinter as we wait for the return of the sun. And we light this chalice to illuminate our community's vision, faith, purpose, and self-determination.
And now, please stand and join me as we say our covenant to each other. By this covenant, we affirm that love is the spirit of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and God.
You may be seated. This morning, I would like to invite you into a time of wonder, a time of play and exploration, a time of learning and of trying, and a time of bravery. When we learn best, when we engage deeply with our whole bodies, our whole selves, and our worship today is meant to do just that, to give you experiences in your body, in movement, but also to enliven your imagination and to connect you to our broader world. Our pageant is not a typical pageant. It is not simply a nativity scene or where we dress our kids up and sing some carols. Our experience of the pageant is an interfaith one where we know that we learn deeply from those around us, that we learn deeply from things that are both familiar and new to us. So my hope to you is that you experience a little bit of all of these things, that you experience something that you have known already, maybe in a new way, but that you also learn new things. And in each of the holidays that we are going to celebrate and honor in the pageant, there will be opportunities for interaction and for learning. And in all of those ways, I want you to think about what you can learn from and take into your life as we have these new experiences. Now, I would like to, the service today is inspired by a book by Peter H. Reynolds called The Gift of Words, which we are going to hear the book first, and then I will give you a few extra instructions as we move into our wider pageant.
The Gift of Words by Peter H. Reynolds. Jerome took a stroll along the snowy streets with his rescue dog, Echo. Jerome felt inspired to collect words, holiday words, words of hope, words of joy, words to give to those he loved, family and friends. Notebook in hand, Jerome began his search for words throughout his town. He loved collecting words around him, but many of the words he read did not seem very inspiring. Sale, super sale, last minute sale, buy now, cheap stuff, even cheaper. These were not holiday words. They did not warm his heart. These words left Jerome feeling cold. Next, Jerome decided to try the newsstand. More cold words, loud and sharp. He clasped his empty notebook in his hand. Feeling discouraged, Jerome decided to listen for words instead. But the words he heard were not collectible. I hate this weather. Move it. Hurry up. I want it now. They were unhappy, frustrated, and impatient words. Just when Jerome thought he'd never find the words he longed for, he had an idea. If he couldn't find inspiration in the words he was encountering, what if he could find a way to give the world the words it needed? Jerome raced back home, Echo trying to keep up with him, and found his word collection. Words he had carefully curated for years. His favorite words were joyful words, festive words, kind words. Jerome loaded his sled full of his favorite positive words and headed to the downtown park. He put a call out to everyone to join him in decorating a tree with words, a holiday tree. Echo barked excitedly. A word collector's tree, a tree of hope, a tree of dreams, a tree of wishes. As Jerome surveyed the tree, people from his community, young and old, family and friends, gathered. Happy holidays, Jerome trumpeted. Add your own favorite words to the tree. His sister added a string of words to the tree. Grateful for all the helpers. A friend added, I dream of a world with no hunger. Friends and family busily added words, some stringing words together. Jerome searched his collection and found just the right words to express his own wish. He hung his words. They looked like a triumphant flag high atop the tree. Peace on earth, goodwill to all. Echo barked enthusiastically. Jerome understood and wrote, Love to furry friends far and wide. The tree was filled with the light of so many wonderful words from so many kind hearts. Jerome's words had brought people and animals together. So many words strung together, shimmering and dreamy. So many positively powerful words. And that was the gift of words. A gift for all.
So the ushers, if you would, just start to hand out the Post-it notes from the back. There are going to be Post-it notes that we're going to circulate through the sanctuary. Feel free to take a couple of Post-it notes so that you might write your words, your festive words, your warm words, your words of dreams and hopes, and that we will put them on the doors of the sanctuary as we exit at the end of our service today. Because there are many words that the holidays of our season can inspire us in many ways with many words. So be on the lookout for inspiration in our midst. I will say an inspiration to me in terms of words is Charlotte. Charlotte has done something really beautiful for us this Sunday. She has created an original piece of music that we will be singing and playing hand chimes for together. And so now Charlotte is going to teach us that initially and invite you to come at her directions to learn and play together.
Thank you. Sorry about that. If anyone is interested in playing hand chimes or boom whackers, please come forward. We've got hand chimes in the back 2 rows and boom whackers in the front. And don't worry, it's very hard to make a mistake the way I've set it up. So it all sounds great. All right, and I've taped some sheet music on the back. If you want to stay seated up here, it'd be a lot easier. So I recommend sitting up here because we're going to come back to this music every couple of minutes. Yes, they're in the back 2 rows. Thank you so much. So have a seat and then make yourself comfortable because we're going to come back to this music after every holiday. Could I have an A minor? Thank you. And then the words are going to change every time we sing, depending on the holiday. But I'm going to teach you the main melody first. So just echo me. I'll do 1 line, or I'll do 2 lines. How about that? First we sing real low. Then we bring it back up here. Here we go. First we sing real low. Then we bring it back up here. Now we're singing low again. Walk it up to do. Now we're singing low again. Walk it up to do. Here's the whole thing. I'll sing it for you first. First we sing real low, then we bring it back up here. Now we're singing low again. Walk it up to do. Can we try it together? First we sing real low, then we bring it back up here. Now we're singing low again. Walk it up to do. So that melody will come back every time with different words. I'll sing each verse first, and then we'll all sing it together. Okay? Now, bells and boom whackers, good luck. We had a lot of snow last week, so we didn't get to meet beforehand, but hopefully, between the color coding and the music, or the sheet music in front of you, you can figure it out. This is not a bell. This is a plastic tube. That's how you play it. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. We have a roaming elf. Don't worry. All right. The first holiday that we're going to celebrate today is Bodhi Day. It is traditionally celebrated around the 8th of December, especially here in Western countries and in Japan. And it is the day that we celebrate the enlightenment of Buddha underneath a, guess what, Bodhi tree. So in honor of our exploration of Bodhi Day, we are going to, guess what, meditate. So I would like for you to try to find a comfortable spot in your body. Take a deep breath in and a breath out. Close your eyes and imagine that you are a tall, strong, beautiful tree. Deep breath in and out. As you breathe in again, imagine your feet are the roots, planted deeply and firmly in the ground. Exhale. When you inhale, imagine those roots going deeper, and exhale. Take a deep breath in. Imagine your legs are a sturdy tree trunk. Exhale. Deep breath in. Imagine that trunk moving up your body. Breathe out slowly. And stretch your arms out like a big, leafy tree. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, imagine a breeze passing through your branches. Breathe out slowly. Breathe in, keeping your eyes closed. Imagine what the sun feels like on your leaves, on your branches, on your trunk. Breathe out. Breathe in and imagine what sounds you hear in your peaceful forest. Breathe out. As you breathe in, realize that you are a strong tree, planted with deep roots, connected to the world around you. Breathe in. Remember this feeling, so in times of stress, you can find the strength of your tree. Breathe in and breathe out. As you are ready, come back to your not-so-tree body, remembering this experience of being a strong tree.
Celebrate in kind, seeking nirvana, meditating frees our minds, enlightenment of Buddha. We celebrate in kind.
Okay. Now, you got two handouts when you came into the sanctuary. One is the order of service, and another is a two-sided handout that includes something about Kwanzaa, and this here, the miracle of Hanukkah Mad Libs. Take a minute to fill out the blank part in the first column. We know how Mad Libs work, right? We get to put random words here on these first lines, and then we will insert them into the Mad Lib. Go ahead and take a minute to go ahead and do that first. How are we doing? Good job. Okay. Now, the miracle of this Mad Lib is that it will actually give you the basic information about Hanukkah, regardless of the fact it's not just me hearing that, right? Okay. Oh, very good. That's okay. That's a hand chime. Perfectly good. Okay. As long as that wasn't feedback. Perfect. The actual Mad Lib will give you the general outline of Hanukkah. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to ask you to sort of do a little bit of popcorn, okay? I'm going to read, and once I get to a blank, I'm going to put my hands out, and I would like someone to just shout out whatever place you have put in there. This way we will make this Mad Lib together, okay? Now, are we ready? Okay. A long time ago in Whoville. The Syrian emperor named Pharaoh came to power. Pharaoh decreed that Jews could not celebrate Yule, learn to read, or teach their children. Ooh, okay. They also stormed into a Walmart in Jerusalem and placed trees inside. Jews were encouraged to worship cats. It's not far from the truth, right? And were punished when they did not. A man named Harper, and his 13 sons started a revolt against Pharaoh. Though they were a small group of warriors, they were very strong, and many other Jews joined their fight, armed only with a spatula and dogs, and from the terrain. The Maccabees, as they were named, particularly Judah, came to be known and fought in a guerrilla war against the Syrian Empire. In 3 years, the Maccabees cleared the way back to the Walmart, which they reclaimed. They cleaned the Walmart and made a new altar to replace the old one. Most of the Gatorade they found had been tainted and was no longer pure enough to be used for the golden menorah that stood in the temple. One small container of Gatorade was found, with just enough to last for a single day of flames. But miraculously, the oil burned for 8 days, during which the Maccabees, a verb, screamed and praised God for their victory. Today, we light a number 8 branched Hanukkah to celebrate the miracle of Hanukkah. Some families give each other presents. We also eat fried foods fried in beer, sing Hanukkah songs, and spin the dreidel, a game of luck that involves a verb at the top. All right. Now, in the actual story of the Maccabees, the item found was not indeed Gatorade, but a single vial of oil. Now, when the Maccabees came into the temple, it was like ransacked. It was a hot mess in there. Everything was desecrated and turned over. So they had to search very hard to find that one vial of oil. So in honor of that searching and finding, there is a single vial of oil shared here in the sanctuary. So let's look around and find the vial of oil. Look around. Juliet, find it? We found it. Thank you, brave Maccabee, for your work. All right. Now, let us sing our musical response related to Hanukkah.
I'll sing it first to clarify, and then we'll sing it together. Candles in the window, dedicated light for all, the miracle of oil. We're grateful for it all. Candles in the window, dedicated light for all, the miracle of oil. We're grateful for it
So now we move on to Las Posadas. Las Posadas is a Christmas festival celebrated in Latin America, especially Mexico, and in Hispanic communities in the United States. The name is Spanish for inns. The festival is celebrated for 9 nights, beginning on December 16th and ending on Christmas Eve. Las Posadas recalls the journey Joseph and Mary made to Bethlehem before the birth of Jesus. When they arrived in Bethlehem, they could not find a room at the inn. Mary and Joseph were forced to stay in a stable where Jesus was born. Las Posadas is celebrated with a nightly procession that goes from place to place, asking if there is room for them to stay. The hosts say no, but often provide refreshments. The procession is finally allowed entry at the last house, where there is a piñata filled with candy and toys. Today, in honor of Las Posadas, we will have a procession of our own. Who picked up the candles as you entered the sanctuary today? Would you be willing to serve as our Mary and Joseph? Great, thank you. Please make your way to the back of the sanctuary. And who selected the doors? You have doors? Okay. Your response is on the back of your door. So now let us experience the journey of Mary and Joseph to Bethlehem.
An extra door. Who would like to be the final door? Okay, come over here. Now, look on the back. If you have the yes door, I'm giving away the end here. Perfect, you are in the exact right location. Okay. If you look on the back, you'll see Mary and Joseph's line, and then you see your response. Okay, here you all can start. Here we go, let's start here. And I'm going to be like the embedded reporter, roaming through these streets with Mary and Joseph, mostly so that I can provide all of you the microphone. Okay, oh, here, actually, let's start here. All right. Oh, I didn't do this exactly right, because I don't know your response. It's okay. We're going to move. Here we go. We're going to do it this way. This is your line, hopefully. Actually, here. I'm going to give you the microphone. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to... All right, here we go. This is your line.
This one?
That one, yes.
I'm asking for lodging, dear man of the house, just for one night for the Queen of Heaven.
No. Well, if it's a queen who solicits it, why is it at night that she travels so alone?
In the name of heaven, I beg you for lodging, for she cannot walk, my beloved wife.
This is not an inn, so keep going. I cannot open you. Open, you may be a rogue.
Don't be inhuman, have mercy on us. The God of the heavens will reward you for it.
You can go on now, and don't bother us, because if I become annoyed, I'll give you a thrashing.
My wife is Mary. She's the Queen of Heaven, and she's going to be the mother of the divine word.
Can you say no? Say no. Yeah.
No. Are you Joseph? Your wife is Mary. Pilgrims. I do not recognize you.
May God pray, gentle folks, your charity and thus heaven heap happiness upon you.
Enter, holy pilgrims, receive this corner. For though this dwelling is poor, I offer it with all my heart.
Thank you, everyone. Very good.
Anybody show us grace? Come in, holy pilgrims. Let us sing with joy in the name of heaven. Can anybody show us grace? Come in, holy pilgrims. Let us sing with joy.
On to the next thing. In honor of Los Posadas, our Sharing Our Abundance recipient today is Casita Linda. It is a nonprofit specifically geared towards making small and beautiful homes for folks otherwise living in poverty in Mexico. In addition to the building of homes and the helping of the community members build those homes alongside of the organization, there are also a number of resources, workshops, and skills building that the organization does in order to help those people who have been living in poverty not just move into a home, but move into to move out of poverty. So it is the habit of this church that when we pass the plate, we do not pass it for ourselves, but we pass it for our organizations in our wider world that support the work that we value and that do the important work of the world. And so we ask that in this time of hope and blessing that you might give, as we do in Los Posadas, that you might give Mary and Joseph refuge with your giving. We gratefully receive this offering.
And now we celebrate the winter solstice, when the longest night occurs, and therefore we experience the shortest day of the year. Today is actually the winter solstice, with the sun rising at 7:52 this morning and setting at 5:17 tonight. The modern day Christmas traditions actually echo older Yule rituals. Having evergreens indoors was a way to celebrate nature's endurance at the darkest time of the year. The call to troll the ancient Yuletide carol in the carol Deck the Halls explicitly acknowledges those pre-Christian festivities of Yule. Candles are lit to celebrate the returning light, and the Yule log is burned, signifying the sun's strength returning after the darkest days of winter, and good fortune coming in the new year. Winter solstice has been honored for centuries as a threshold, a doorway where darkness reaches its fullest and the first quiet breath of returning light begins. The story, The Shortest Day, recalls these ancient traditions for us. I'm going to read this short story while illustrations from the book are shown on the wall. One of you is holding a bonfire figure. Yes? Yes, yes, yes. Somewhere? Anywhere? Yes, all right. Okay. When you hear me mention the line, this is very important, they burned besieging fires all night, please raise it in the air for all to see the burning flame. And now, let's begin our story. The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper and Carson Ellis. So the shortest day came, and the year died. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned besieging fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight this shortest day, as promise awakens in the sleeping land. They carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we, here, now, this year, and every year. Welcome, Yule.
Let us feel the warmth inside as the earth makes its way around. The sun is gonna shine, cold as we are now. Let us feel the warmth inside as the earth makes its way around. The sun is gonna shine.
Now, on the back of your Hanukkah Mad Libs, you will find a Kwanzaa Kinyara. On that, there is a Kwanzaa quiz. And on the 7 candles, you will see the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. written both in Swahili and in English. For our parable of Kwanzaa, there is a story. We're going to hear a story called The 7 Spools of Thread. As you listen to the story, you want to be on the lookout for these 7 principles that you see in each of the candles: creativity, cooperative economics, self-determination, unity, collective work and responsibility, purpose, and faith. Our parable should include all 7. Now, before we watch the parable, I'm going to invite our choir to move back to your seats, most probably, so that you can actually see the story, see and hear the story. And as you can take your instrument with you if you'd like. Okay. I indeed did not give you the key to the quiz, but if you take it and you want to know if you got them right, I'm happy to tell you. Okay. Now, this is where the color pencils come in handy. If you have color pencils, fill in each candle as you hear each of the 7 principles, okay? The 7 spools of thread.
In a small African village in the country of Ghana, there lived an old man. In a small African village in the country of Ghana, there lived an old man and his 7 sons. After the death of his wife, the old man became both father. In a small African village in the country of Ghana, there lived an old man and his 7 sons. After the death of his wife, the old man became both father and mother to the boys. The 7 brothers were handsome young men. Their skin was as smooth and dark as the finest mahogany wood. Their limbs were as straight and strong as warriors' spears. But they were a disappointment to their father. From morning until night, the family's small home was filled with the sound of the brothers quarreling. As soon as the sun brought forth a new day, the brothers began to argue. They argued all morning about how to tend the crops. They argued all afternoon about the weather. "It is hot," said the middle son. "No, a cool breeze is blowing," said the second son. They argued all evening about when to return home. "It will be dark soon," the youngest said. "Let's finish this row and begin anew tomorrow." "No, it is too early to stop," said the third son. "Can't you see the sun is setting?" shouted the sixth son. And so it would continue until the moon beamed down and the stars twinkled in the sky. At mealtime, the young men argued until the stew was cold and the fufu was hard. "You gave him more than you gave me," whined the third son. "I divided the food equally," said their father. "I will starve with only this small portion on my plate," complained the youngest. "If you don't want it, I'll eat it," said the oldest son. He grabbed a handful of meat from his brother's plate. "Stop being so greedy," said the youngest. And so it went on every night. It was often morning before the 7 brothers finished dinner. One sad day, the old man died and was buried. At sunrise the next morning, the village chief called the brothers before him. "Your father has left an inheritance," said the chief. The brothers whispered excitedly among themselves. "I know my father left me everything because I am the oldest son," said the oldest. "I know my father left me everything because I am the youngest son," said the youngest. "He left everything to me," said the middle son. "I know I was his favorite." "Ah!" said the second son. "Everything is mine." The brothers began shouting and shoving. Soon all 7 were rolling around on the ground, hitting and kicking each other. "Stop that this instant!" the chief shouted. The brothers stopped fighting. They shook the dust from their clothes and sat before the chief, eyeing each other suspiciously. "Your father has decreed that all of his property and possessions will be divided among you equally," said the chief. "But first, by the time the moon rises tonight, you must learn how to make gold out of these spools of silk thread. If you do not, You will be turned out of your home as beggars. The oldest brother received blue thread, the next brother red, the next yellow, the middle son was given orange thread, the next green, the next black, and the youngest son received white thread. For once the brothers were speechless. The chief spoke again. From this moment forward, you must not argue among yourselves or raise your hands in anger towards one another. If you do, your father's property and all his possessions will be divided equally among the poorest of the villagers. Go quickly, you only have a little time. The brothers bowed to the chief and hurried away. When the 7 Ashanti brothers arrived at their farm, something unusual happened. They sat side by side from the oldest to the youngest without saying anything unkind to each other. My brothers, the oldest said after a while, let us shake hands and make peace among ourselves. Let us never argue or fight again, said the youngest brother. The brothers placed their hands together and held each other tightly. For the first time in years, peace rested within the walls of their home. My brothers, said the third son quietly, surely our father would not turn us into the world as beggars. I agree, said the middle son. I do not believe our father would have given us the task of turning thread into gold if it were impossible. Could it be, said the oldest son, that there might be small pieces of gold in this thread? The sun beamed hotly overhead. Yellow streams of light crept inside the hut. Each brother held up his spool of thread. The beautiful colors sparkled in the sunlight, but there were no nuggets of gold in these spools. I'm afraid not, my brother, said the sixth son, but that was a good idea. Thank you, my brother, said the oldest. Could it be, said the youngest, that by making something from this thread we could earn a fortune in gold? Perhaps, said the oldest. We could make cloth out of this thread and sell it. I believe we can do it. This is a good plan, said the middle son, but we do not have enough of any of one color to make a full bolt of cloth. What if, said the third son, we weave the thread together to make a cloth of many colors? But our people do not wear cloth like that, said the fifth son. We wear only cloth of one color. Maybe, said the second, we could make a cloth that is so special everyone will want to wear it. My brothers, said the sixth son, we could finish faster if we all work together. I know we can succeed, said the middle son. The 7 Ashanti brothers went to work. Together they cut the wood to make a loom. The younger brothers held the pieces together while the older brothers assembled the loom. They took turns weaving cloth out of their spools of thread. They made a pattern of stripes and shapes that looked like wings of birds. They used all of the colors: blue, red, yellow, orange, green, black, and white. Soon the brothers had several pieces of beautiful multicolored cloth. When the cloth was finished, the 7 brothers took turns neatly folding the brightly colored fabric. Then they placed it into 7 baskets and put the baskets on their heads. The brothers formed a line from the oldest to the youngest and began the journey to the village. The sun slowly made a golden path across the sky. The brothers hurried down the long, dusty road as quickly as they could. As soon as they entered the marketplace, the 7 Ashanti brothers called out, "Come and buy the most wonderful cloth in the world! Come and buy the most wonderful cloth in the world!" They unfolded a bolt and held it up for all to see. The multicolored fabric glistened like a rainbow. A crowd gathered round the 7 Ashanti brothers. "Oh," said one villager, "I have never seen cloth so beautiful. Look at the unusual pattern." "Ah," said another, "this is the finest fabric in all the land. Feel the texture." The brothers smiled proudly. Suddenly, a man dressed in magnificent robes pushed his way to the front of the crowd. Everyone stepped back respectfully. It was the king's treasurer. He rubbed the cloth between the palms of his hand. Then he held it up to the sunlight. "What a thing of beauty," he said, fingering the material. "This cloth will make a wonderful gift for the king. I must have all of it." The 7 brothers whispered together. "Cloth fit for a king," said the oldest, "should be purchased at a price only a king can pay. It is yours for 1 bag of gold." "Sold," said the king's treasurer. He untied his bag of gold and spilled out many pieces for the brothers. The 7 Ashanti brothers ran out of the marketplace and back down the road to their village. A shining silver moon began to creep up in the sky. Panting and dripping with sweat, the brothers threw themselves before the chief's hut. "Oh, chief," said the oldest, "we have turned the thread into gold." The chief came out of his hut and sat upon a stool. The oldest brother poured the gold out onto the ground. "Have you argued or fought today?" asked the chief. "No, my chief," said the youngest. "We have been too busy working together to argue or fight." "Then you have learned the lesson your father sought to teach you," said the chief. "All that he had is now yours." The older brother smiled happily, but the youngest son looked sad. "What about the poor people in the village?" he asked. "We received an inheritance, but what will they do?" Perhaps, said the oldest, we can teach them how to turn thread into gold. The chief smiled. You have learned your lesson very well. The 7 Ashanti brothers taught their people carefully. The village became famous for its beautiful, multicolored cloth, and the villagers prospered. From that day until this, the 7 Ashanti brothers have worked together farming the land, and they have worked peacefully in honor of their father.
We're going to sing one last verse. If you wanted to come up and play the instruments, you can, or if you want to stay from your seat, that's fine. Nguzo Saba candles lit each night to show the way, believing in each other, together come what may. Nguzo Saba candles lit each night to show the way, believing in each other, together come what may. Thank you so much for playing today and singing so nicely. If any of the children in the room would like to come with me, I'm going to take the music cart. You can bring the boom whackers, and we'll play a little bit of music during the last part of the service. You can leave the bells here, and I'll deal with them later. Bells and gloves can stay up here, but any other instruments can follow me with the kids. Thank you.
Before we transition to Candles of Community, I will encourage you to take a moment now to think about what you have experienced, heard, learned, and if you have words that you might want to include on your Post-it notes, include them now.
So Kwanzaa reminds us of how important it is to honor our traditions together. Candles of Community is one of our most important worship service traditions. This beloved family has woven ourselves into one loving, sturdy fabric, providing warmth, support, and encouragement for one another during joyous times and difficult ones. As the 7 Spools of Thread story reminds us, sticks in a bundle are unbreakable, and I would add that they burn more brightly as well. So no matter who you are, where you are, or what is happening, you can be rest assured that our love always surrounds you. And it's during Candles of Community that we are able to speak aloud what is on our hearts and feel this love that I'm talking about. Anyone on Zoom, you may now type your joys and sorrows in the chat, and I will read them once everyone in the sanctuary has had a chance to have their candles lifted up. Laci will light a candle each time a person shares. Please remember that you can always have a candle lit for you in silence. And the birthday jar is available for donations to our garden fund in honor of any type of anniversary. There weren't any candle requested in response to the email invitation that was sent to the congregation a few days ago, so we'll move on. Are there joys and sorrows here in the sanctuary? If so, I invite you to come up front now via the side aisles. And when it is your turn, we ask that you use the microphone so everyone on Zoom can hear you. Please give your name before briefly sharing your joy or sorrow. And now I'd like you to join and stand as you're willing and able as we sing our closing hymn, Make Channels for the Streams of Love. It's number 299 if anybody wants to use the hymnal. We're just going to sing the first 3 verses. And I'm going to ask Sherry, will you please play it once through for everybody before we begin to sing? And now, as we near the end of our service, I've asked Bob Drake to come up and extinguish our chalice for us. We know, even as that chalice light is extinguished, its flame of love burns brightly yet in each of us.